He says, what I like so much about what you do is it's new and a super compelling way of telling stories. Can you talk a little bit about when you first started doing that, when you ended up on the SMP server? Can I just say, before we carry on though, just to sort of ease the nerds in the room, me and Ranboo are massive fans of analog horror. We love that kind of stuff, right? The journey from where we were waiting to here was the most backrooms, zero lighting, and Ranboo just kept nudging me, going, "No, it's backrooms, guys, it's backrooms." But yeah, I forgot the question. Do you remember the question?
I think it was like, how did I start doing storytelling?
Yeah, can you talk about how you first started doing that when you ended up on the SMP side?
Well, basically, I had no idea how to begin my lore and everything when I started. I remember I was like, okay, so it's kind of like casual, you know, where it's just like I'm getting into it more with like Tommy and everything when I worked down George's house, and then yeah, that's gonna be really odd if no one watches the dream.
He's a pyromaniac.
Probably. If the first thing didn't work out, I mean.
So for those of you that don't know, an SMP is a survival multiplayer server on the game Minecraft, and it's where me and Ranboo sort of had our like highest peak so far, at least.
Yeah,
it's been our it's how I met him. It's how we became such close friends, and so that's what it was. And Ranboo joined a little bit after me. And his original start was you were a bit more of a slow burn into it, even though you had your, how many 1,000-word doc for your lore, for your backstory?
I don't know how much, but I was just it was after the first actual stream where I was just like, oh, I could actually do a cool lore thing.
Yeah.
It was I played a survival game with Charlie Slimesicle. So then afterward I was like, all right guys, let's chill. And then I didn't see where I placed a certain book. And then I was just like, okay, what if I made this an entire thing? And then I just started freaking out, I acting like I was freaking out, and then I just abrupt. I would say when it's it would be when someone is writing out an entire comic story or something about it, and then I'm just like, okay, yeah, that works. But when someone, I remember especially for Generation Loss, and one of the next teasers that I have planned, I looked at a fan art and then I completely misinterpreted what it was. You will not be able to find the original fan art, I don't think, simply because of how just awfully I interpreted what it was. But then my interpretation of it was oh, that'd be a good idea. And then I kind of took it there. So inspiration can come at pretty much, and this is really a sentence that's been said a lot before, but it can come from pretty much anywhere. It can come from seeing a certain object and being how can that object be used in this certain space. So I think just keeping a really open mind for inspiration will allow you to suddenly see a lot more oh, I could use this, or I could use a crowbar in this way. I didn't know that.
Well, I wouldn't ask why a crowbar specifically. So how is this new format dealing with you though? Because again, we're very used to improv, and in that space, how is having this new scripted, written format working for you? How is working in that space doing?
Oh, having an actual script and writing is really, it's a lot different from improv, because the way that I would describe the Dream SMP, especially during the kind of mid-later days of it, is it became a D&D campaign where everyone is their own dungeon master. Yeah, but it essentially became that, and going from having to interact with a bunch of people, and then changing what you're doing based on what other people are doing as well, to being able to okay, I can write a whole story. It's a lot more calling, but then you also realize how much you have to include in a story as well. I never really understood why some scenes were in certain TV shows or certain movies, because I just wanted to skip to the good parts. But then you have to realize that some things are very necessary in order for that big scene to pay off.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I would say going from improv to scripted was it was good because